Hello everybody, welcome back to Spill the Tea. Lou, as you can see, I am joined today by a very special guest, the lovely Kate of Kate and Jimbo. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak to me, especially since I'm only a wee titch of a channel compared to yours, you're flying. So thank you very much. And how are you feeling, Kate? Because obviously it's a big game today. Things have been a little bit rocky at the moment at Spurs. Is it a case that this could galvanise us and pull everyone together? Or might this be the final nail in the coffin?
First of all, it's lovely to be here. I was so happy when you invited me on. And my channel's tiny, let's be fair. It's still a tiny channel. Yeah, but I've been going a lot longer than you, Lou. So it's strange to sit here without Jimbo because he seems to be everywhere I am. But it's also nice to have a bit of girly chat. But yes, girly time, exactly. Massive day today. I don't know how I'm feeling really because, you know, we had a good win midweek in the Champions League, and a lot of people have said, "Oh well, that Spurs have had an easy draw, like they did for the European Cup last year, and they played nobody of any good and blah 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 blah." But whatever happens, we can only beat what's in front of us, and we ended up finishing fourth, which is bonkers. But it's kind of papered over the cracks of the Premier League, so it's a strange feeling today. Probably the craziest stat that I saw today is if we did beat City today, that's our 10th Premier League double over them.
Yes, because Spurs are the team that have beat Pep Guardiola the most in his Premier League career, which I found very interesting when I discovered that yesterday, because I thought, oh, that's not the team I would have guessed if you asked me.
Exactly, but we're like their bogey team, everyone's got one. And ours, City, we saw it in the Champions League even when we ended up getting through to the final. Their goals being offside, and like Aguero could never score against us. It's crazy. But we've also got to look at that in all of Tottenham's Premier League managers, Thomas Frank's got the worst home win rate of 0.82%, So it really is a case that although we're good in Europe, we are really poor in the Premier League. Only two teams over the last 2 seasons have lost picked up less points than us, which was West Ham and Wolves. So it's a scary day today.
That's a lot. Now, first of all, I'm going to dive into the chat, Kit, because I've seen some questions coming in already, and they're actually quite good ones. But I want to say hello to everybody, and then we're going to take a dive back into what you were saying there. So Guess is in the house. Guess is saying, I wish I had started my focaccia earlier, so I had some ready for the stream. Guess is currently studying baking. She's at baking school. So every day I get pictures of cakes and breads and everything that looks beautiful. And while they look absolutely delicious, I get so much. I'm like, Jimbo, I'm getting FOMO. I'm like, can I have some, please? Can I have the cake? But they always look delicious. So I can imagine when those focaccias are ready, they're going to be fantastic. Rob is saying, hello, Lou, and lovely guest, Kate. He's also letting me know that I am lovely as well. He just got over that bit. Flossie is here in the house. Rob is saying, come on, United and Spurs. David Speaks Football is saying this is an elite stream. He is correct. Your Paige is in the house. Paige found me through you. So Paige is here. Paige is very good. Always here. Gav, afternoon, Lou, Kate, and all. Who else? And Guess has Kate and Jimbo's link in the chat. Guess loves the link. She has a good link. She's great for it. Now, David is a good question, so I'm going to come back to that in a little minute. Obviously, Jimbo, not Kate, is here. I think that's so funny. I love that. Huge is in the house. We haven't seen Huge for a few days. We were going to think you were on the oil rig with Dave. So, right, everybody's in the house. I hope everybody has smashed the like button. I hope you're all voting on the poll. And David has a question, Kate. What is your take on some Spurs fans wanting to lose today just so Arsenal don't win? David, I'm judging you harshly for this, by the way. Before Kate gets to answer, what do you mean you understand it? You never want and I don't know what Kate's going to say, so she might agree with you. You never want your team to lose. I don't care what the reason is. I don't care what the bigger picture is. I don't care. You don't want your team to lose. You can't. I don't care. I personally, no way, Jose. Sorry, Kate, if that's your opinion.
Not last year, the year before, we had the same thing, and I remember going on the terrace saying, I think it's outrageous that people want us to lose, because I never want my team to lose ever. I don't get it. I know David says he gets it. I don't get it, but at the same time, I've got to be perfectly honest here and say, if Tottenham were finishing 10th, if we were sitting in 10th, and we had nothing to play for this season, we had no chance of getting Europe, we were safe, but we're just mid-table, I would want us to lose today, because it would have no bearing on my season.
I just couldn't. It's because for me, obviously, the important part is where you finish the season. But on the day, watching it happen as you lose, I understand why some people feel that way. I do. I get it. I can't imagine feeling like that. Do you know what I mean? I can see it, but I can't relate to it.
The thing is, like today, we could, supposing we did beat City, we've still got to play Arsenal in a couple of weeks, so we could beat them. Or the alternative, we could lose to City today and Arsenal still win the league. And then what? I mean, we're fighting for our lives. So anyone in this position who wants us to lose today is bonkers, because there's a real threat of relegation. It might only be small, but there is a threat of it.
Kate, it's not the craziest thing. Like, people were saying to us last season, because obviously we finished up in 15th, which wasn't a huge amount above you guys. And people are like, oh, but your team is so big. United will never really go down. And I'm like, if they keep bloody losing, of course they'll go down. I mean, the points, all that matters. Nobody goes, how big is your club before we relegate you? They go, how many points have you got? And how many points has everyone else got? I mean, the table doesn't care about the name of your team. It only cares about how many points you have. So while I understand people who are maybe saying, no, it's too remote of a possibility, the 3 that are in the relegation zone are so far down, I understand. I think it is. You have to be aware of the fact that it is actually a possibility. But David has come back and said, I think sacrifices need to be made for Arsenal to never, ever succeed. Unfortunately, it's landed at your doorstep twice in 2 seasons. The thing is, it's easy to say about sacrifices when it's not your own team.
Exactly. I definitely love my team more than I hate Arsenal. At the end of the day, I don't want Arsenal to win the league. But if they win the league, so what? There's going to be a bit of banter and a bit of stick online. And then what? You know, it has no bearing on my life whatsoever.
No, I agree. Yeah. And I think that's a good way, Kate. I actually think it's the perfect phrase. I love my team more than I hate that team. Yeah. I think that's where I sit on it. So while I can understand, I think that's the line. That's what it is. Now, Jimbo has said, you should be ashamed of yourself, Kate. You're so naughty, woman. He also says, Bonnie's watching you and crying on the TV.
Oh, that's our little lab. Bless her.
Oh, Kate, that's so
cute.
Huge is saying, I can imagine wanting to lose, but it would have to be like the last game of the season, and losing would mean Liverpool lose the league. Then I can understand.
Yeah, because
in the context of what you said about maybe 10th, it doesn't mean it, and it doesn't change anything, and it stops Liverpool getting 21. Then maybe. That's extenuating circumstances. But just one game where it is all still up for grabs, I think no. When your team has something to gain by winning, I don't think you can want a loss. If there's nothing to be gained for you, and you can stop like that, the likes of Liverpool matching 21, then I'm like, right, okay, I can sort of see that. What I think for say the likes of Arsenal and Villa, the Unai Emery sort of factor, that's another one that I think a lot of people, I love it. Sometimes I love the stories write themselves, don't they? Like,
yeah, they do.
Like, you wouldn't see it on Coronation Street, some of the stuff that happens, but I love it. What do you reckon, Kate? And I talked about this with Anton and Cal on Fire Them Cannons. before the Arsenal United game, and we were talking about Pep Guardiola, and they asked me, is this the Pep of old? Is this the City of old? And I said, no. I said, Pep went through a lot of personal stuff last season. So we didn't just lose Rodri to injury. It wasn't just a tough season. Pep went through a lot of personal turmoil, and the mainstream media just didn't really, actually even a lot of YouTube, just didn't seem to address it. And maybe it is being a female, where you look at the emotional side of things, the mental impact side of things. Maybe that's, I don't know. But I couldn't grasp that nobody was addressing the personal turmoil that he was going through. And now, like a week later, I saw yesterday, there's rumours coming out. I think it was in the Times, that rumours are starting to grow that Pep Guardiola is going to go at the end of this season. Do you think that impacts himself and the team game to game when the rumours are coming out more and more and more? And we know they're all on social media, so they're seeing this, that he's going to be leaving. Do you think it gets in their heads before a match like this against another sort of traditional Big Six team?
It's a tricky one, because I never believe it until it comes out the horse's mouth. Like when Klopp announced it mid-season and said that he's definitely going, I was a bit confused as to why he announced it as and when he did. And, nothing's come out that's 100% concrete that Pep's going to go. I think the City players must know that if they go another season where they don't win the Premier League or they don't win the Champions League, and it's not a successful season for them, that there's a massive chance that Pep might leave. But look, I think it's difficult, because City are a fantastic side. Literally, I think they're such a brilliant team, but they've not had the same impact that they had before, because I think they had a team of superstars. And I think, for instance, when Mahrez left, it affected that team more than they realised it would. And I think when De Bruyne left as well, you saw a massive gap in the team. So, but I think there's still a superb team. And I think the fact they've added Semenyo, the fact they've added Gueye is going to make a massive difference to them. So it's a tricky one. I can watch City one week and think, wow, they're nothing like they used to be, and then the week after go, wow, they're back to their best. So, and I'm not sure whether it's really got anything to do with Pep. I mean, some people are saying he can't motivate a team anymore. Some people are saying he can't rebuild a team. I think it's disrespectful, because he's the second best manager that in the Premier League, or in whatever, behind Sir Alex. So I don't like to come down on Pep too much, but it's tricky. I'm not convinced he will go at the end of this season.
See, I am. I reckon he'll go, because before we got Amram, so there's a guy that Amram works with, and eventually I'm going to remember this guy's name one day, but he worked with him at Sporting. He works with him at a number of clubs. And so this guy goes ahead, and then Ruben Amram follows. Okay. And so this guy, when the rumours were that Amram was going to go to City, this guy currently works for City. He went to City. And then we, in the middle of the season, were like to Amram, no, you have to come to us now or never. We want you right now. That's it. And he came to us. So I'm 100% convinced at that time Amram was going to be the replacement for Pep, because this guy went ahead of him. 100% convinced. If you watch the pattern, the guy goes, Amram goes. The guy goes, Amram goes. It happened for 2 or 3 different clubs. The guy went to City. The rumours were Amram to City. And then we went in mid-season and we're like, no, come here now. So I think he was already leaving. I think actually, and this is complete speculation, it was right after that he announced that he had signed another 2-year deal. And it was right after that himself and the wife split up. So I reckon he had promised the wife he was done. At the end of his contract, he was leaving. Amram was coming in to replace him. United swooped in and took Amram. Pep then went home and said, look, I'm going to have to extend, because they don't have a contingency plan they want to use. It's only temporary until they get someone else in place. She threw the toys out of the pram and was like, no, you said you were quitting. They've now reconciled, and the rumours are coming that he's leaving again. So
you should start a conspiracy theories channel with that one. Wow.
If you ever want to know anything about anyone, let me know, okay? Because I got you. But it all fits. And if you look it all up, there's all newspaper reports, there's all factual public reports showing this. If you look at the timeline, it's all there. So I am convinced he's leaving at the end of this season. Completely convinced.
See, I was always of the opinion that if Pep leaves, it will be Company that comes in and replaces him.
That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, so I would have been surprised to see Amorim go in at City, but I can't argue with that timeline, Lou. I can't argue with it.
It's tough, isn't it? I think now Company's number one. But yeah, it was the way it happened. And I probably wouldn't have noticed it if United wasn't involved. I wouldn't have seen it. But because we were involved for Amorim, I was watching the other things happen, and because it impacted what we were going to do. So I was like, But there's a conspiracy theory. So I think he's going at the end of the season. And I think the players know he's going at the end of the season. And I wonder, and this is another conspiracy theory, I am going to get to some of the comments, but I'm enjoying this, Kate. Ash wouldn't tolerate this. He would just tell me to shut up and tell me some factual information. I'm like, this is facts. So I needed you, Kate, to talk through this one last night. But I think then his players know he's leaving. I think internally it's known that he's going. And I think they're worried because when Fergie left United, we still haven't recovered. Look now, Klopp left, Slots come in. They might have won the Prem, but it's been a bit of a mess. And I think maybe some of the players are going to be looking at this going, there's a lot of uncertainty coming. I think they know he's going. And I think maybe they're panicking that they're going to follow in United and Liverpool's footsteps.
Maybe. But then you look at someone like Gay and Semenyo, would they come in knowing that uncertainty?
Oh, I don't think they know. They're on the outside. I think they've told them lies. Or they've just not told them. They've left that out. They've been like, we're going to be in the Champions League next season. We have had a very stable manager. We have done this consistently, and they've avoided talking about the future, I think.
Wow, you could be right.
I've been down the rabbit hole, Kate.
But let's be fair. If that's true, then Arsenal really could be looking to dominate football for a while, which is really depressing.
That's crazy. What I said was a rabbit hole. What you've said is completely insane. Let's not be crazy. They might win. I think they might win this season. To be fair, I do think they might win this season. But I think, and I genuinely believe this, and it might just be a little bit of delulu, I think United might be on the up, I think we've gone around, we've tested things out, we've tried a few different managers, we've realised 3-4-3 is not for us, we've realised that we're good at the 4-3-3. I think we've made all the mistakes. I think now we know the things what not to do. So based on that, obviously, I think we're going to win the Premier League next season. No, I don't. But no, I think it might, instead of being one team's dominance for years, the way it was, I don't think it will be one team dominating year after year after year. I actually think the Premier League winner might change season on season because all of the bigger teams are now in transition, crisis, whatever you want to call it. United, off the wall. Chelsea, I like Liam Rosenio. I think he's very good. I really like him, Kate. Do you know when you just get a vibe?
Yeah. Jim's the same, and we don't very often like anything to do with Chelsea, but I really like this guy, and I'm just gutted he's there because I want him to do well, but not with them.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And do you know what I like about him, Kate? He's very what's the word? He's very self-assured. He's very he knows what he's doing. He's not overawed by the position. He's not overawed by the squad. He's very, and not in a cocky way, in a just very understated, self-assured. He's very proactive. See, if you see him on the sideline, he's like, no, I don't want it. Change it. Even yesterday in the match, his halftime talk must have been sensational. 45 minutes, he's making the subs. He's not afraid. He's not overawed. He doesn't care. He's his own man. He knows what he wants to do, and he's going to go and do it. I just get really good vibe off him. It's sickening me.
Yeah, I do.
Because we've been trying to do this for years and they've done it on their first go. Absolute gits. But Kate, We've gone round the houses. We've come off the topic, so we'll read some chats, and then we do have to go back to Spurs. I know we've had a good meander, but we do have to go back to them.
Okay.
I don't know enough about Spurs to talk about them like properly. Do you know the way a fan does? I know from the outside, but I want to get, as you've seen now, I like to do a deep dive.
Yes.
So I need you to tell me the things that I don't know.
Okay. I'll try my best.
I'm going to need to look some stuff up. What are we saying? Gav, this is from when we were talking earlier. Don't put yourself in a position where you can help or hinder your neighbours or rivals. Do your own job. Very good point. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it won't matter what anyone else is doing. Jimbo, not Kate. I love that. I'm going to keep saying it. I love it. I am convinced City win the league this season. I don't think it's impossible. And actually, conversely to you, so you reckon if they do badly, he leaves. I actually reckon if they win, he goes out on a high, the way Fergie did.
Ooh,
go out on a high. I think the great ones want to go out on a high. They don't want to go out on a low. So I actually think he might be more motivated to win the league than usual. The players are freaking out because he's leaving. I think that's what's happening. He's buzzed and they're like, oh no. Yeah, and it's all his wife's fault. What else is being said? Paige is saying Pep made smart club choices, money talks. Gav had a similar sentiment. Gav is also struggling to spell the word broken. We need to work on the autocorrect in your phone, Gav. Gav and Flossie are having a spelling bee in the last number of lives. And they're actually aiming to see who can have the most typos. And if I can still read the comment. Oh, God. I put up that comment before I read it. Yeah, I'm spilling the tea all over the place today.
She is.
All over the place. I'm telling you, you heard it here first. I actually think the Times saw me on Anton and Cal's stream. That's what happened. Obviously, lovely Jessie Talks Football is here from your channel also. So your gang is in the house. Gav is saying, doesn't matter what happens with City now. They have been given time to build a strong structure, so whatever happens won't affect them too much. I understand that point of view, and I think a structure is very important. However, I think sometimes we underestimate the human factor in a company.
Yeah,
I do. And what do you think? I very much think sometimes we talk about stats and figures and facts and structures, and we forget about the human. Yeah,
part. Because you've only got to look at Conte when he was at Spurs, even though it all ended in disaster. But he lost two really close friends in close proximity to each other, and you could see it in the way he was. And you know, it's like anything, whether it be divorce or whatever's going on in people's lives, you can't help but to have it affect your working life. I don't care what anyone says. So, but people don't take that into consideration at all. Not at all. It's like they don't really take into consideration that managers are human. I mean, Thomas Frank, for instance, I know we're going to go back to him, but the abuse that he's getting at the minute from a human perspective is outrageous. I don't know how he's doing it. You know, it's awful, but
it's very hard. It's very hard. And we are going to come back to that. Definitely. My problem is, Kate, if I stop doing the comments, they build up and then I never get through them. Yeah, disaster. I distract myself so easily and the chat help. Flossie is saying, if Arsenal win the league, I will leave YouTube for a month. I think that's perfectly understandable. I won't be visiting my mum for a month. My brother is Arsenal, so can't visit my mum. Gav is saying, don't worry, Lou. Our board will find another way to mess that dream up. Well, they are creative. Let me see. What else? Flossie is saying, I would love if Villa could keep it together and win. And I honestly, and this is nothing against, there are some very nice Arsenal fans, and we actually get some that come in here and they're lovely. But I think there is a section of the Arsenal fan base that I would love nothing more than to see their bubbles burst. And if it was Unai Emery to burst it, I think I might do a happy dance. Genuinely.
The thing is, I think online Arsenal fans as well are a lot different to match-going Arsenal fans. There's a lot of online Arsenal fans I can't cope with. Although when you're not talking to them on the stream, they're actually really nice, most of them. Kunle, I mean, I love Kunle. He's my favourite Gooner. But even Egal, he drives me mad when I stream with him. But when the camera's off, what a lovely guy, literally.
I find a lot of the time with Arsenal fans, if you speak to them about things that aren't Arsenal, they're absolutely lovely. And then you say the word Arsenal and it triggers a thing. And I was on Hassan's yesterday in the chat, and he was talking about who the most annoying fan base are. And he was like, United. And I was like, I actually don't think we are. Don't get me wrong. It's not that we're not irritating, but I mean, we've been losing for about 15 years. There's no possible way we are the most annoying at the moment because we've nothing to be annoying about. It's literally impossible. He did then go on to say that he would laugh if United went into liquidation, which I thought transcends rivalry a little bit. So I left the stream in a huff because I thought there's fun and banter and then there's no, that's too far. So I left him to his little rant. But I actually find at the moment, but it is because they're currently being successful, it's Arsenal. But you see, if City win the league, they'll be the most annoying. If United win the league, they'll be the most annoying. Obviously Hassan's being annoying regardless of what Liverpool are doing. But do you know what I mean? When your team is winning, I do think you have the tendency to be the most annoying because you've something to be annoying about. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, though, they haven't won anything yet, but they're talking like they deserve this huge amount of respect, and they've not won anything yet. So they need to just calm down and be humble a little bit. Yeah,
get it over the line.
Yes.
Let's see. Jessie is on the ball telling people don't forget to smash a like and subscribe. Correct and right, Jessie. Gav is blaming his typos on fat fingers and small buttons. I mean, sounds legit to me. Flossie with the link. We have a link off with the mods. Flossie has got Jessie Talks Football link in the chat. Do go subscribe. Subscribe to everybody. We're all friends here. Huge is saying, Kate Ladd.
Kate Ladd, okay.
Kate Ladd, you think, well, to be fair, my fiance called me bruh the other day. He was texting me and he was like, bruh. And I was like, who's that? And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, who's bruh? Never heard of him. And he was like, it's just like a phrase. And I'm like, no, it's like brother, mate, pal, bucko, man. I was like, I'm none of those things. I am sweet princess. Don't ever call me bruh again. So we were very clear at the end of that conversation who I was. So Kate Ladd, you think Frank stays till summer and is squad building or has been backed, or Frank is making it worse? So do you think he's going to be there till the summer, or do you think he's making it worse?
I think he stays till the summer. I don't think the board have got any intention of selling him. However, I don't think he's the right man for the job, but the board are not doing anything to help this poor sod. I mean, it's the end of the transfer window tomorrow and we haven't bought in one attacking player, which is an absolute outrage. We sold Brennan Johnson the first day of the transfer window and we've never replaced him. We've never replaced Son. I could just go on and on and on about the gross negligence of this board when it comes to the team. So even though I don't think he's the right man for the job, I don't think he's been helped by the board.
That was how I felt. And I do keep bringing it back to United because I actually think the journey we're on has so many parallels. But that was exactly how I felt at the end of Amram. I didn't think he was the guy, but I also felt he wasn't given a fighting chance. Like, we're closing the transfer window. We have done nothing. Nothing at all. Zilch. Like, we have Dorgu out, who has been on a very hot streak. If Luke Shaw, who infamously is constantly injured, but has magically stayed fit for 23 out of 23 games so far. But if Luke Shaw, who has spent most of the last 10 years on the injury table, gets injured, we have nobody at left back. Nobody. Yeah. We don't have a left back. Technically, Dorgu's better on the wing, but he's injured. So he can't fill in. We don't have a person. Like, do you know? So I completely understand the frustration. Like, when you're saying Brennan Johnson, like, who's pretty decent. It's not as if he's a terrible player. And you're just getting nothing. Nothing at all. It's frustrating, Kate.
Thing is with Johnson, he was magnificent under and was our top goal scorer, and he scored the goal in the Europa League final. But we brought in Conor Gallagher again. He's not an attacking midfielder. We've brought in a 19-year-old left back. There's just nothing going forward. And like Richie's injured now, so we've got Moani, who hasn't been very inspiring. Obviously, we've got the likes of Madders and Kulu both out, who are both brilliant attacking players. And I think we're setting him up to fail straight away. And it's not fair. It really isn't fair, especially as our board have made this big statement. They made a 2-page statement about how they're going to, increase the wage structure. They're going to do this, going to do that. And then the first transfer window, and they've done nothing.
Yeah. And that's it. It's all the promises. Like, we got the whole best in class spiel. We only get best in class. We're going to walk to the right decision instead of run to the wrong one. They've all got different versions of the same nonsense. And it's like, your words are entirely meaningless. I want to see action. Actions speak louder than words. There's a reason we have these phrases. It's because they're correct. PFC TV is in the house. Welcome, welcome, friend. Did you see this? I love the profile picture. Can you see that, Kate?
Oh, it's Haaland.
Yeah. Isn't it brilliant? Every time I see this, I love it. It makes me smile every time. So today, what you might need to do, if you guys win today, you'll have to Photoshop this, change out Licha, and put in one of your players.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Dear. I love it. I love it. Huge is saying Villa winning the league would be so great. It's just a good ending to a poor footballing season. I'm enjoying this season now. Maybe it's a lot of people are saying it's bad. I'm quite enjoying it, to be honest. I think it's very competitive. I think it's quite exciting. I quite like it. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I think it's poor in the fact that anyone can beat anyone this year, which we haven't seen. I mean, it amazes me. City have dropped so many points, and yet if they win today, they're 4 points beyond Arsenal, who are meant to be like this amazing, perfect team. It's crazy.
For me, the fact that anyone can beat anyone tells me it's competitive, because if everybody's so good to take points off each other, then it's because we used to have like the top 6 and then a massive gap and then the middle. Yeah. The gap has disappeared because the middle has gotten so much better, So I actually find it more competitive because anyone can beat anyone. So it depends what way you see it. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's definitely more competitive. I just think that the level of football this year has not been as good.
I think the number of draws has been too many. The nil-nil draws need to stop.
Yeah, but exactly.
Gav is saying, to be honest, some Arsenal fans talk like they have been licking the magic tree. I like that phrase. That's a good one. Lou, don't worry. United will be ahead of Liverpool today. Absolutely. United. PFC TV, that is the kind of positivity we are looking for. Rodney is in the house. Big up. Come on, you Spurs. I'm assuming that's one of your crowd.
Yes. Come on, you Spurs.
Let me see. What else? Who else? Kate, I believe this is for you. You keep buying injury-prone players as well. Does that sound like a fact? I don't know.
I don't know if we buy injury-prone players, but our players just get injured all the time. And I watched a friend of ours at Spurs Talk Show had a medical expert on who works for football, like for a football club, and he said that there's a possibility that because Tottenham's new stadium, the actual turf is on the grounds of the old stadium, and it's real thick metal underneath the turf, that could be a possible reason. I don't know. All I know is I was one of these people that blamed Ange Postecoglou for the hamstrings. I thought it was because he ran them ragged, but we are absolutely just always in an injury crisis, whether it be hamstrings, ankles. I don't know what it is, but I mean, Conor Gallagher is never, I don't think he's ever been injured.
Don't say that. He'll hear you and break his leg or something. Honest
that's what's going to happen. I guarantee. He's only ever missed 5 days or something, which was with the flu. He's never had an injury. So I guarantee before the end of the season, he is injured.
And do you know what it is, though? We went through that. with United, the injury crisis, the constant problems, I believe Eric Ten Hag got a lot of the blame for that. Exactly, he's running them too hard, blah, blah, blah. And then we got one of the head medical guys from Arsenal to us, and everything got worse. And we were like, he's a spy, he's been sent in to sabotage us, he's wrecking the gaff, it's an absolute mess. And then if you look at Newcastle, I mean, Flossie will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Ash would definitely tell you Newcastle have had an injury crisis this season. We looked at it last week. They had seven defenders injured. And then obviously Dan Burn punctured his lung with a broken rib. They've had a lot. Obviously, Arsenal have had a lot of injuries, to be fair. They've the third most minutes missed by players in the season. So the thing is, they have such a good squad depth. You don't notice it as much, but they have had a lot of injuries.
Last week, I think it was last week or the week before, we had 15 players out.
Yes. Because I actually spoke about that. It was last week because I spoke about that on the show before the match. I was like, how are they even going to play? Because you'd that many, I think 5 or 6 were ineligible, but the rest were all injuries, and at least 3 of them were hamstrings. And I was like, what? I thought you were going to get absolutely hammered just because you'd missed so many players. But I am absolutely 100,000,000% convinced it is the scheduling. And I keep banging on about this. I'm boring people to death. But do you see when a break is so they can fly off somewhere, get jet lagged, train differently, with a different team, a different manager, do different tactics, play more games, fly back, and then have to switch back because it's different training. It's different muscles. It's different. And it's 3 times in the first 3 months of the season. It's absolutely off the wall nuts. Yeah. It's mental. So I'm convinced. I said at the end of the third international break, we are now going to start seeing loads of injuries to players. Shock horror, we're seeing loads of injuries to players. And I would say the amount of managers that have not lost their job, but it has been a factor in them losing their jobs because you're like, how are you getting so many injuries, man? I actually don't think it's anything to do with them at all. I don't think it's their fault at all. Now, PFC TV, I think this is a good comment for you, Kate. It would be typical Spurs to beat City because they always have City's number. So there you go. There's a vote of positivity for you, Kate.
We do.
Just such a need before the match.
I know. We do beat them more at their place, though, which is factual. We beat them always at the Etihad, and they have beat us at ours. So let's wait and see.
So you'd rather be away for this fixture is what you're telling me?
Their home form's dreadful. So, yeah, I would.
Kate, David has a correction. He said, Arsenal are scary, said someone famous. Someone once said, I don't know who it was, but I keep hearing it, and it sounds like a whole load of nonsense to me. Hugh just saying, and this is about the Premier League as a whole, it's exciting in terms of results, but it's too many set pieces and mistakes in terms of goal scoring. It feels like everyone is relying on set piece to make up for bad attacking play. Do you know what it is? And I think I am a little bit of an outlier on this. There has been a load of set piece goals. I mean, we've had as many, at one point we had as many as Arsenal. United did. And the long throws, I know there's people that don't like those. I don't mind any of that. I'll be honest. It really doesn't annoy me because you see, to get a corner, you have to be attacking. Mm-hmm. To get the corner, you have to be in the opposition third attacking. Otherwise, they're not going to put it out. So I do agree there's more set pieces. I do agree there actually has been more defensive mistakes. And I think maybe we don't have the flair, the exciting strikers that I think we missed at the exciting, but I think the reason for that is actually because most teams now are looking for players that can play in multiple positions. Yeah. We're not looking for Erling Haaland. We're not looking for Ruud van Nistelrooy. We're not looking for just a striker's striker, and that's what they do is they strike. Mm-hmm. What we're looking for is players that can play up front or on the left or on the right or maybe in midfield to give them some goalkeeper gloves. So I think we're diluting the quality of the strikers because we're asking them to do different things. We're not asking for specialists. And actually, I do miss that. I love an exciting striker. I hate Erling Haaland and I love him.
I mean, that's where I think Harry Kane is so underrated because we've had games where he's scored, but he's also been our best defender on the pitch. He just does everything. I think he is the most incredible player. And just because he played for Spurs and didn't win anything in the time he was with us, he gets so disrespected. I think it's outrageous, really.
Do you know what it is as well? And I have to say, I'm a little bit guilty of this. I would never kind of undermine the talent that he has. He's not very glamorous, though.
No, he's definitely not.
He's just, there's no glamour about him. And I actually think that, obviously the Spurs factor impacts it slightly. You know, he hasn't won all the Prems or anything. I'll be honest, I think if he was 10 Premier Leagues with him, I don't think the overall feeling towards him would change because Spurs aren't considered a glamorous club and he's not considered a glamorous player. It's not, do you know that thing, that like charisma, that he
Thierry Henry.
That thing. And I actually... That's it, that va-va-voom. And I think you can see the talent. I can see his talent, but he doesn't have that va-va-voom that makes me go, oh. And I actually think that's his biggest problem.
I agree. I do agree with you 100%. Jim calls him Roy the Rovers, which he kind of is in a way. But yeah, I do get what you're saying.
I do feel for him because that should have nothing to do with football, and it really shouldn't. But as much as football is a competitive sport, it's also an entertainment business.
Exactly.
And I think he misses that. He has all the talent in abundance. He's very good at his actual job, which is the football. He's missing the extra. I think that is why, because there was a time when we were linked to him. And I was like, no, I don't want him. And people are like, he's unbelievable. I'm like, yeah, he's unbelievable. I'm not questioning that whatsoever. But he just doesn't, I wouldn't be excited. They're like, if you were winning, you'd be excited. I'm like, yeah, I would. But it just doesn't have the thing. And I'm very much like, I'm an emotions person. I'm a feelings person. I need to feel it. And
I've got to be honest, when I watched Kane and Son and Bale, that gave me excitement. Like, no offense, Jimbo, but proper excitement. So I miss that. We definitely haven't got anyone like that anymore.
No, definitely not. And I think across the league, and I think that's it, across the league, we're missing that. Haaland has it. There's very few other players that you look at them and they have it.
Yeah.
And I think when we're talking about things like that, it's the attacking doesn't feel as good quality. I think that's a design. I think it's a design flaw. I think it's something they've purposely moved towards, that it takes away the entertainment value.
Agreed.
It's functional, but it's not entertaining. And what I've enjoyed about the two matches we've had under Carrick, it reminded me of Ollie. It reminded me then of Fergie. It's attacking. It's fast-paced. It's exciting. And I do think you get away with a bit more when it feels exciting because people are enjoying themselves. Do you know, like, see today, if you guys, say if you lose, but you really stick it to City. Like if you go, like if it's a 3-2 or something, if you are on top of them, if it's fast, do you know, I think you would get less stick than if you win, but it was boring.
Yeah.
See, if you sit in and you get a 1-0 and you get the points, I think you will get less credit than a 3-2 where you lose, but you've stuck it to them.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
People lose sight of that. And do you feel like, because obviously I watch some of your matches, but I don't watch all of your matches. Do you think that's something Frank's capable of? Because some managers are just too practical to be able to do that.
I don't know. We have played that way. I mean, obviously, a lot of our players, like Xabi Simons, are definitely more suited for European football. There's no doubt about it. And when I've watched us play against Dortmund and Frankfurt, it was exciting football. And we've had 45 minutes in the league here and there where it's been exciting. But I don't think it's necessarily Frank that's doing that. I think it's the players have taken it upon themselves to do it. Our players seem to have...
quote recently, Kate. Sorry, there was a quote recently, from one of your players saying something to the effect of it feels different in Europe, or Europe's a different type of competition, or something to that effect. I can't remember who it was, but I remember hearing it and thinking, well, that's not the manager. So you've put it straight in my head.
I mean, the players, they basically said that when Ange was there, they actually went in and said to him, look, it ain't working this way. You've got to do this. And Ange changed it up a bit. And then we've heard that Van der Ven, Romero sort of whisperings that they've said, no, we can't play this pragmatic. Let's do it that way. Mm-hmm. So our players are definitely quite, I would say they've got quite big egos, but at the same time, Frank isn't a big enough character to control that, in my opinion. You know, if you imagine Conte, if they went in and said, well, it ain't working, you know, it just go Garrity. Whereas I think Frank's too nice to manage Spurs. And I know that sounds really stupid, but I don't think he's got the backbone for it.
Well, we spoke earlier about Liam Rosenior. He's new, he's unknown, but I guarantee you, if any of those Chelsea players went into his room and said, this isn't working, we're changing it, he'd be like, you're on the transfer list, sunshine.
Exactly.
He has the thing. And it's that intangible that matters. And I think we've had that, again, shock horror with some of our managers, where they've been accused of being too nice, of not being able to just nip that in the bud. The other side of it is, I think there has been a number of matches where Romero specifically has saved him a little bit. And I think that probably makes him feel like he owes him, therefore he should listen to him. That's not a good dynamic to have either. Because Romero, while he speaks, like he came out with the quotes then about you're bored and about, you know, we'll come out and do our job, but we shouldn't be the people speaking to you about this. There's other people that should be here. They only come out when times are good. I mean, he can be a bit of a loose cannon, but then he can say things that are absolutely correct. That has to be hard to manage, because it's such a big personality, and it can be, if it was channeled correctly, so beneficial. But if he's that strong and Frank isn't, in the dressing room, that's going to be so split.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed, as much as I wanted Ange, I would have given Ange a few more months, I think. But as much as I wasn't happy with Ange, he really sorted Romero out. Romero's whole style of play changed, even though he still, you know, went in for those tackles. He was a lot more careful. His discipline improved. Since Frank's come in, Romero's discipline's gone out the window again. Yeah. And I mean, he released a statement a few weeks ago about the ball to Romero, which was so spot on. You know, he made a dig, you know, these certain people only ever speak and they tell lies about the club, but it shouldn't be coming from him. You know, it's totally inappropriate for it. But they asked Frank about it. He said, no, he hasn't been fined. And I think, well, what sort of, you know, example does that set? That people can just go out and say what they want? You know, I love Frank as a guy. I think he seems a lovely family man, but he definitely isn't a Tottenham manager for me.
No, and it's a dangerous precedent to set, because once you allow it with one player, and again at United, I mean, don't do what we do, because it's not working. I can tell you that much. But Anton is in the house. He's come into the Lions Den, and he has said, big ups, Lou and Kate. Please, Kate, I know you can't stand me, but I could really use a hand by you beating the Chiefs today. And that's such a sad comment.
Anton, I have nothing against you as a human being. Don't say I can't stand you, because that's not true at all. But I cannot stand your football team. So when I'm on the stream with you, if you're waffling about your football team, you're going to get it from me, both barrels, because I hate Arsenal. But as I said to Lou earlier, actual Arsenal fans on YouTube, like yourself, like Egal, I've actually got no problem with at all. And behind, as soon as the camera's off, we're just people. But it's not that I can't stand you, but I will happily say I cannot stand your team. But I do hope we beat the Chiefs today. I'm going to put it out there. I do hope we do.
I hope you do as well, to be fair. Really, what I said yesterday, and I said this to Flossie, what I really should want is for everybody to draw and all drop points to give my team the best opportunity. Also, I don't want Arsenal to run away with it, so I should kind of want City to get points. But I'm banking on Villa. Banking on Villa. So, and this is what I mean. I can look at all that logically and be like, I should want everyone to draw, or I should actually, if anyone wants City to win. I don't, though. I don't. I want you to win, because I don't want them to win. There is no logic. It's all emotion. It's pure emotion. And look, not everybody fans that way, but that's how I live my life. So I'm not going to stop it for football. Just, David, David is saying, Anton is the best looking Arsenal fan there is. Well, there you go. And our Jay is in the house. Welcome, wee friend. I didn't spot you sneaking in there. Flossie's at it again with the links. She has David Speaks Football link in the house. What else have we got? Winnie's in the house saying, I don't mind corners, but I hate seeing long throws. Right. I have seen so many people. This really irritates, like really people dislike it. I don't care. I don't understand it. What? Right. Winnie, if you're still here, what is it about the long throw that annoys people? If you agree with Winnie, if the long throw annoys you, please explain to me, what is it that annoys you about the long throw? Because I don't get it. I'll tell you what I don't like. And it's not really specifically to a set piece. What I don't like is when a team takes 6 hours to take a set piece. But that's not down to the set piece. That's down to the team. Or I don't like when a referee gets over-involved unnecessarily in the match and it's stop, start. Now, something like that might help, say, you guys today against City so they don't get into a flow. So in that sense, you're looking at it going, excellent, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
But in a general sense, I like it when a game flows, unless tactically it suits me and my team.
Yeah.
But it really does irritate people, and because it doesn't annoy me, I can't grasp what annoys people about it. I don't understand.
I'd much rather see long throws than foul throws, because we see foul throws every game and they don't get pulled up hardly ever. So, yeah. But no, I like the long throws. Take whatever advantage you've got. That's what I say.
PFC TV, Kate for Spurs chairman. Woohoo! There you go, Kate. You've got a bunch of votes in the house.
There you go. I'm right out. Don't worry about that.
Paige is saying, I'd take Kane at Man United even now. I mean, to be fair, we do still need a striker, so we can't really say. And Anton, this is where you go wrong. Scariness has been restored. You had your fun, but we're back.
Back from where? You don't win anything. Where are you back from?
Oh, well, after the match with us, Anton felt like the league was over and they should sack Arteta. So I believe he's come back from the brink of madness. I'm not sure he's referring to Arsenal. I think he means me, myself, and I. He's referring to himself with that statement. Okay. Would be my interpretation, whether it's what he meant or not. That's what I'm giving it. This is a good one. PFC TV. And you're not allowed to pick Bruno Fernandes because he's the easy out. That was going to
be my choice.
I know. It's the easy out. You ask anybody that question, they're like, Bruno Fernandes. And I'm like, right, now pick any, literally any. We have other good players. We have some really good players.
Probably in Mbumo, I think. Because I really wanted him. But I really like the look of your goalkeeper as well. Lamens. Yeah.
And you know what it is? Thank you, Kate. Because see the way you pronounced, you waited to pronounce the name correctly. Everyone's calling him a lemon, right? But when we get, maybe other teams do this, but when we get a player, okay, we get them to do a video of them pronouncing their own name. Yeah. So we don't say it wrong. So in his video, he says, my name is Sene Lamens. And everyone's like, lemons. And I'm like, no, lamens. Like you're singing lamens. Yeah, but it's the same as Rosenio. I've seen prominent YouTubers calling him Rosinia, but he was asked, in his first press conference, he was asked by the journalist, how do we pronounce your surname? And he responds, well, my dad says Rosenio. So, I mean, see when their names are really complicated and you can't pronounce it, I'm like, fair enough. But you see when they're out there telling you, this is how you say my name, and it's easy enough to pronounce for us. It baffles me. But anyway, that's just, I've so many pet peeves. This is the right that doesn't annoy me, kid. Running out of tea, people saying names wrong, deep dives into the Guardiola family. You thought you were coming on here to talk about Frank. Oh no. Absolutely not, kid. Because I've yet to do a show that is linear or on the topic that I expect to talk about. I thought we were going to do 10 or 15 minutes on the matches yesterday, a little few minutes on United, and then about 40 minutes on Spurs. But instead, we did the Guardiola files and Kate for chairman. I mean,
What do you expect on a Sunday? You know, anything can happen.
I wish I could blame Sunday. It's like this all the time. Poor Ash comes on with me every week on a Friday. And at the start, he'd say, Lou, what are we talking about today? And I'm like, Ash, I don't know. And see now, he's literally just given up asking me, because when I actually make a plan, we made a plan. Well, I made a plan one time. The show was 2 hours and 50 minutes, Kate. So we went back to not having a plan because we just meandered.
That's the best way.
Oh, it's so funny.
The best way. The best shows are the ones where you just let it flow and see what happens.
Huge. I'm assuming this is because you were talking about excitement earlier.
I think so.
So I think you might have yourself to blame for this one.
Okay.
Let me see. Gav was hoping you would want Dallo.
No, thank you.
No, I've been saying this for 2 years with that man.
Yeah,
Rob is encouraging the people to like and subscribe. Do it now. We do also have a poll at some point. Kate, remind me to give I put up polls, right? And then I look at the results myself, and then I don't tell people what the result is. And
I've done that plenty of times.
So between us, we'll try. Anton is back. He says, your North London brothers and sisters need your help. Red and white, lily white, have to stick together.
Do you know what? That's so shameless. Doesn't matter if I needed Arsenal to win. There's no way I'm ever putting that out into the universe, ever. I remember Arsenal fans changing their badge to have a cockerel on it when they needed us to beat City before. It's so shameless. Look, what will be, Anton. But if you do your job and just carry on winning, then you don't matter what City does. Easy as that.
Correct and right, Kate. Gav is saying, Rosenio looks like the IT guy you get sent when a fellow co-worker sends you a dodgy PDF file. Do you know what, though? He would definitely delete that shit permanently. He would permanently delete it. He'd be good at that. Gav also says, loved Big Ange, to be honest. Never saw him drinking from a Gunner's mug.
Yeah, Frank got well set up there, didn't he?
He was stitched up, wasn't he, the poor chap? Absolutely stitched up. Rob is saying Kate is a brilliant guest. That she is. The United team is out, so we are going to talk about your team, because I did actually ask you on here to talk about it. We're weaving them in. That's weaving. Right. So let me see. Where is lineups? Confirmed lineups. United is that big enough for people to see? Almost definitely not. How do I full page view? That's what I'm looking for. Now, Lawmans, okay. Dallo, why is Mazraoui not playing? This is actually highly irritating. Mazraoui is back from AFCON. He's had a few days rest. He's better than Dallo. Baffled. He should be playing. But anyway, Dallo, Maguire, Martinez, so that's good. Shaw has now started, Kate, you will never believe this, 24 out of 24 Premier League matches this season. Because guess what? There's an international competition in the summer. And if it wasn't, he'd have been injured already 6 times. But anyway, he's fit. Then we have Casemiro and Menu, which was very good last game. Dial, Ahmad, Fernandez, Cunha out on the left with Dorgu being injured, and Mbeumo. So essentially, Cunha comes in for Dorgu being injured. So, I mean, other than Dallo, I'm very happy with that. It's the same lineup we've had for the last 2 matches, and it's worked. So it's hard to argue with it. I'm just looking at their team. Again, it seems to be mostly their main team, from what I can see. I think we'll beat them. Surely we'll beat them.
You should beat them, but I like Fulham. I think they're a good side. I think they're well organised. I think Alex Iwobi is a really good little player. Yeah. I thought Oscar Bob had signed for them and may start. I don't know if he's on the bench or if it hasn't gone through yet.
Benches. Because he might not have been... no, he's not on the bench. So he wasn't obviously through in time, I would say. No, yeah. I do think they were good. That is not a good picture of Marco Silva. If I were him, I would be requesting to change that. And the referee is John. But you know what I mean? That's not a good headshot, Kate, honestly. Like,
it's not really.
Dirty there. Like, that's a good one of Carrick. You know, that's a nice headshot. They've done him dirty there. He looks like he's on America's Most Wanted or something.
Or it could be he looks another Lego head, to be fair.
does a bit, doesn't he? His head's not that square normally. Do you see when you see him like on camera and he's moving, his head doesn't look that square. John Brooks is the referee with an average yellow card handout rate of 3.96 yellow cards per game. So that means Casemiro and Dallo are almost definitely getting booked there. I reckon, Kate, we beat them. I do. Yeah. I think this is the real test, because we turn up for big games and then the teams like Fulham, we just absolutely wreck the gaff. But I think we're going to do it.
Yeah, I think 2-3-1, maybe even keep a clean sheet. I think you're starting to see Cunha that you thought you were going to get. He looks really good, and Buemo's a great player. Bruno Fernandes being back is a massive difference. So yeah, I think it'd be a comfortable afternoon for Man United today.
Hopefully, and then we'll be going to watch your excitement. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the poll now, because otherwise I will forget. Okay, so I put a poll up before I always put it in before the show starts, and it says, who wins today? Only United, only Spurs, both, or neither. Okay, you will be pleased to know that the final result of the poll is both win at 42%. So nearly half of the people think that not only United are going to win, but Spurs are going to win as well. So there's a lot of confidence. We're putting it out there into the ether. Now, the second most was 29% for only United. But I mean, 42% is pretty high for both. So there is confidence that Spurs might just turn up. Yous might do what we do. It's a big game. Turn up when nobody expects us to. Everybody thinks you're going to lose, which obviously means you're going to win. Do you think if he wins, it's a stay of execution for Frank? Do you think he might get sacked? Do you think if he loses, he might get sacked? Because, I mean, if you're expected to lose and then you lose, it feels like a big overreaction to sack him based on that. What do you think's happening? Because I thought he'd be sacked already. So I don't really understand how he still has his job. So what's your understanding? Because I don't get it.
I don't think they're sacking whether we win, lose, draw. I don't know if we'll get a point in February. I think I've gone for a 2-2 today because we do a pre-match pump up, and I hate going in there and telling people I think we'll lose. But if I went with my head, I actually think we will lose. But I've gone with a 2-2 draw. But, we've got Arsenal this month. We've got Newcastle this month. We've got Liverpool coming up. It's a really tough month. But I think the board are going to keep him till the summer, because who on earth do we bring in as an interim to then have to change it again and bring in the summer? And I also think the board will use the excuse of we didn't really invest in the January transfer window because we wasn't sure who the manager's going to be, which is the most ridiculous excuse, but that's what they say. But there's a massive protest at Spurs today. Okay. And I say massive with my tongue in my cheek, because they're never actually that massive. The most we've ever had is 2,000. But this time it's different. They are asking everybody to walk out at 75 minutes of the stadium. But as I said, this is my argument. First of all, if it's on a knife edge and it's, say, 1-1, there ain't no way on this planet, no matter how I feel, I'm walking out at 75 minutes. I want to see where that game goes. And the second thing is, if we're 4-0 down, the media won't paint it that Tottenham fans are not happy with the ball. They'll paint it Tottenham fans know the game's over, so they've left. So I'm not convinced it's the right way. I always say I respect anyone that protests, and people can be a fan however they choose. It's just not something I choose to do because I don't think it works. Yeah. But look, there's massive discontent at Spurs. You've only got to listen. At the end of the game against West Ham, the fans were singing Pochettino's name. They were singing, Thomas Frank, your football is shit. They were singing, we want him out of the club, so I think it doesn't help the team either, obviously. Let's be fair. It doesn't help the team. But I just personally think the board will stay with him until the summer, and then obviously evaluate where we are. We're 6 or 7 points off of Europe. For me, it might as well be 50 points. I don't think we've got any chance of getting any sort of Europe this year. So I think in the summer, they've got to put their hands up and say, look, we got it wrong. and get someone in that they can buy into. And I personally think they'd bring Pochettino back. He's been twerking massively for Spurs in all these interviews. And I just think he's the one person, whether people think going back to your ex is a bad move or whatever, I think he's the one person that A, can unify the fan base to a certain extent, and B, fans will give him more time because of his history with the club. But look, it remains to be seen. I could be well out and they keep him, or they could go for someone completely different. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I just hope we don't go for a Glasner, because to me, as much as I like him, I don't think he's the right appointment for Tottenham.
No, and I think you can be a good manager, and that just as a standalone fact. But if you're not the right fit for the club,
exactly,
it's not going to work. And that, like, I felt like that about Amram. I think he's a good coach. Like what he did at Sporting, you don't do by accident. I don't think he was a right fit for United. Yeah. And I think we're very lucky in that we had Carrick and Ollie as interim options, because that brings us to the summer to be able to get somebody else if we opt to do that. In like your position, or say like a Liverpool, because a lot of the Liverpool fans seem to feel that way as well, that they'll keep Slot till the end of the season instead of changing mid-season, and then they'll have a structured plan in place to replace him. It makes more sense when you think about it, because you guys don't really have the options that we had in terms of an interim and then an easy swap around. So it makes sense. And also I understand what you're saying with Pochettino, because like that, when we got Ollie, because of what the fans already felt about him, because of the positivity that was already there, he understood the club. He understood what he was walking into. I do think it makes a difference. Like, again, we're talking about the human factor, but also just to touch back on it, because we've touched on it slightly a few times, but Frank is a human being. Yes, he's a manager. Yes, he's underperforming. Yes, he's maybe not a good fit for the team. He's a human being. And I do think in football, sometimes we forget that these people are humans, with feelings and families. And, this is their job. They want to then go home, and you can't really escape it at all.
No, and they sort of said to him about it, and he said, obviously, I'd rather I wasn't getting this abuse. But I think his kids are grown up and they live in Denmark, so he said they don't see a lot of it. And I said to Jim, he seems like such a nice guy. But then at other times I watched him yesterday talking about how he's got the backing of the board and all this nonsense coming out of his mouth. And it's so frustrating. And I get it. They pay his wages. People say, oh, he's a yes man. But I mean, I don't know what people expect him to come out and say. At the end of the day, he's being paid he's the third highest paid manager in the Premier League. So
I couldn't believe that when you told me that. That's crazy.
Tottenham always pay huge manager wages. That's why it's going to cost us 24 million or something to get rid of him. So he's got to say what he's told to say, but it is so frustrating. And I really loved him at Brentford, but I'm starting to not like him.
Yeah.
Because I just know he's not right, but it's not his fault. I mean, I'd never abuse him or anything like that, but it's so frustrating because he says, he's saying what he's being told to say. And it's, as much as it frustrated me when Conte come out and set the club on fire, basically, by saying what he said, at the same time, I was going, oh my God, yes, this is what we've wanted someone to say for so long. But yeah, I'm just glad that he's got older children that aren't in this country, because if that was my dad and I was seeing that against him, I would find that really upsetting.
Yeah, so, no, it would. It's hard. And I see that a lot, about managers or coaches being yes men. And I'm like, at the end of the day, they can't come out and slander their employer in public. I mean, you have to be realistic. They're employed. It's literally, it's his job. It is his job. They are his employer. Like, you cannot go out and publicly slander your employer. And like that, sometimes, as you say, when we see it happen, we're like, yes, you're saying what we're all thinking. Yeah. But they're saying that when they know they're going to leave. Maresca did it to leave. Amram did it to leave. They do it when they know it's the end. They do it when it's already gone. So when your manager comes out and says that, what you know is you're in for more upheaval. So while it might be satisfying, it's not really the right thing to do. Now, Kate has got to go, folks, because she has another stream later on today. But let's fly through. I'm going to try and get as many of your comments, and we're going to sprint through the comments, and then we're going to get lovely Kate Let lovely Kate set her free. I'm going to let her out of the dungeon that is my channel.
I'm going to go and Google all these Pep Guardiola stories.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Kate, look into it. It's serious. Huge says, to be fair, Villa are the best team in terms of open play. Gav is saying, this show has been nice. The calm before the storm. Let me see. Dane is in the house. Rice, baby. Come on, you Gooners. Come on, you Spurs. So, I mean, today, all the Gooners are Spurs fans, which I find hysterical. Rob Always United is saying, long throws went out with the crazy gang loot. I mean, I'm still in the crazy gang, so maybe that's why I don't mind. Jay is saying the long throw takes too long sometimes. And I agree with that. Any set piece that takes 6 hours to do, but I don't think that's the throw's fault. I think that's the person taking it. Hugh is saying, I don't mind corner to long throws, but it's just a coordinated fouling that they allow for some reason. That annoys me. Nip it in the bud early in the game and then it stops. Winnie says, funnily enough, I can't grasp myself why I just don't like watching it. Gav says, back from second place, which is obviously aimed at our Anton. Paige is saying, what I hate is during free kicks, one of the players lying on the pitch. That's silliness all of a sudden. They're like little draft excluders down there. Gav is really pushing for Dallo. He's really pushing, Kate. And Gav is also saying, better a lemon than a Prattman. Prattman is Onana. So, yeah, it's definitely better a lemon, but maybe we'll try and call him by his name. He might like that. I might encourage him. Guess is saying, we should make an effort with names.
We should.
Absolutely right. Johnny is saying, I think Spurs fans would take Amram right now just to get rid of Frank. Kate, yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, I think he's good, He is a good coach. We're just insane. We're just mental.
KJ was saying to me, with the way we set out with the wing backs and everything, we've probably got we're more his style than Man United.
You actually probably are, to be fair. Yeah. And like I said, and he got rid of a lot of the toxicity. He handled our dressing room really, really well. And we know our dressing room is tough. So if he can handle ours, he can handle yours. That could be a good shout, Although he has recently moved home, so he might not want to come back to the cold. Johnny is saying Dallo plays because he's teacher's pet. Same as Shaw, to be fair. Both constantly in the manager's ear. I mean, wouldn't surprise me. Gav is saying, Shaw, the $6 million man, we can rebuild him. We will rebuild him. Paige is saying, Dallo, oh joy, the ball boy and girls can collect the balls from the parking lot. So obviously he's just a popular guy. Johnny is saying, even seeing Ugarte on the bench is too much of a reward for him. I feel Ugarte is our new Johnny van de Beek. It just hasn't worked. He seems like a nice chap, but he looks so sad around the place. But it's not worked out. Let him go.
I so wanted Donny van de Beek when you got him. He was such a good player.
So good, Kit. I think we wrecked him. I think
you did. I would have loved him at Spurs.
Yeah, he was so good. We're doing score predictions, spontaneous score predictions. 5-1. I'm assuming this is United because we have United in the next one. So Gav is saying 5-1. Jay is saying 2-0. Johnny is saying 3-1 in Bumo brace and an Ahmad goal. I mean, I would take that. Winnie is saying, I will be hoping for a 4-0. All right, Winnie. Winnie is a Liverpool fan, so he wants us to drop out of the Champions League spot. At least he hasn't wished liquidation on us, so I mean, it's not so bad. Gav says, I'll be honest, Kate, I'm not backing Spurs today.
Probably sensible, to be fair.
It's probably because of the things that I said, because Gav is a United fan, so he's thinking of Champions League spots and Arsenal not running away with it. So it's not personal, it'll be all right. Guess is saying, let's hope the poll is right. We're both going to win. Gav is saying, where is Oliver today? Hopefully taking a day off. Maybe he's on his hollybops. Surely they get holidays as well. Let me see. Johnny is saying, I want to draw because kind of same as Liverpool and United under Amram, where if they get the occasional point, they won't sack him. So he wants you guys to draw, so you'll keep Frank and keep not doing well. I
don't think it matters what the score is. I honestly think they're keeping him because if Daniel Levy was still here, he'd have been gone weeks ago. Easy as that. But Vinay is renowned for being stubborn. He kept saying, we've got to keep Arteta. And he's the reason Arteta's in the job.
Oh,
he was the Arsenal director of football. So So yeah, he's renowned.
It's interesting when you know what their kind of their go-to, their form is. So that could be interesting, actually. Harold, lovely Harold is in the house. Hey Lou, hope you're well. Are you ready for 3 points? And Kate, are you willing to help Arsenal?
I'm willing to win. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. There we go. Let me see. Gav was making jokes about Southgate and Spurs, and Paige has come back and said, "Careful, Gav, or we'll end up with him." Let me see.
I think you've got a gem with Carrick. Do you know Spurs approached him before you did about him being?
Yeah,
no, that's yeah.
No, they approached him, and then we come in, and he said sorry. Which, to be fair, he has much more history with us. But if we don't keep him, and he's doing right, so if he does well with United for the rest of the season, and then we decide we're not going to keep him, I mean, he's not doing himself a disservice. Do you know what I mean?
I really like him.
Oh, Guest has given us an update because
that was so sad.
Yeah. In other news, Bellingham was in tears, subbed off after 10 minutes with what looks like a pulled hamstring. I think injured players are sad because I think, look, at the end of the day, as we say, they're people. I think it's very sad. I also think, and I suppose maybe I have a different view on Bellingham because I obviously don't follow England and international football, so I don't have that emotional attachment to him. I think he's an arrogant son of a gun. And I wouldn't want him anywhere near my team. I think he thinks so much of himself. And I think no matter how talented you are, if your personality shit, don't want to know. I'm not a fan of him. So I wouldn't wish his hamstring to be pulled, but I'm also not devastated for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was sad because I saw him cry. And it always makes me sad if I see men cry.
Do you know what it is? I cry at everything, Kate. Do you know them sad ads on the TV? I read, do you know the sad stories on Facebook? The homeless puppies, the people in the river. Do you see the videos where they rescue the puppies out of the river? Look, I just be sitting crying. I can't cope with myself, Kate.
Jim put on an animal program of David Attenborough, said, should we watch this? And I was like, as long as it's not sad. Anyway, next thing you know, the female lioness, her cubs have been eaten. Oh my God, I was in floods. I had to beg Jim to turn it off. I was sobbing. He's going, but this is nature. I'm like, Jim, I can't cope with it. You got to turn it off.
No, I couldn't be doing it. And do you know what else? There's a kind of a sanctuary over here in Donegal, and it's called Wild Ireland. And what it is, it's like a sanctuary for animals that have previously been in captivity that can't then be re-released into the wild because they die. Do you know what I mean? So there's like bears, there's black bears that were in the circus, and there's like 2 of them, and you walk through, it's like a walkway, and there's some little wallabies. It's all like ex-circus, ex-zoo, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. And the guy that owns it actually works there regularly. We went up one of the days and we were really late because we didn't realize how long it would take us to get there, and it was nearly time for closing, and it was lashing rain, and he was walking around feeding the animals, and we were like, we drove 3 hours to get here. And so he took us in and he walked us around it. So, we loved it. It's fabulous, kid. Absolutely fabulous. It's lovely. But sure, I'm reading, it has the stories of all the animals and how they came to be there. I'm crying about the bears at the circus, honestly, standing reading the sign in the rain, sobbing. I was like in my own music video. If anyone had seen me, I was doing a Hilary Duff. I was standing in the rain, crying, reading the bear story, while I could see the bear was perfectly fine right in front of me. He was fine.
It's so sad, though. It is so sad.
Flossie's with us. She can't watch the animal stuff either. Flossie helps rescue dogs. It's heartbreaking, absolutely. What if Gav is saying, some say Lou cried when Auntie died in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I cried the first time I watched Titanic and Jack died.
Oh, now, I did too.
I was young, but I sobbed my wee heart out, so I did. But hopefully we won't be crying today, Kate, because hopefully we're going to win in the football. But folks, I'm going to round it up there. It's nearly match time. I need to go and get myself sorted. Kate needs to go and get hers. Kate, is it your own channel you're on, or where are you? You're 3 o'clock, you're live, is it?
I'm on We Are Tottenham TV, but it's also going to be streaming on our channel as well, because I've done a dual stream, so you can watch us either place. So yeah, we don't even call it the pre-match pump up anymore. This is how bad it is. It's now the pre-match therapy session. And we always do it an hour and a half.
Therapy before the match, Kate.
Yeah, therapy before. Because when it's very hard for us to try and pump people up when we're all feeling a little bit there about our team. So we just have a chat, go through the team lineup, give score prediction. So yeah, you can find us there or on We Are Tottenham TV at 3:00.
Well, that's it, people. You know where to go after this one. Go get a cuppa, go get a snack, watch the football, get stuck into Kate and Jimbo. Thank you very much, Kate, for joining me. Smash a like on your way out if you haven't done so already. Guess is there. She has got the link in the comments. Click on the button. And we will see you all very soon, people. Hopefully with happy faces after happy wins. Go team.